let's address the elephant in the room. Could Arsenal actually win the title? Tim, I ask you this in all your years of experience in football.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to win the Premier League, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do they have what it takes?
Why not? The only problem they have Man City in their way. Take Man City out of it. I know we can't. You'd say they would be favourites at this moment in time, not only because of the position where they are in the league, but the style of how they're playing, the confidence they have, the trust the manager has in them, and the trust they have in their coach, which is Mikel Arteta, who's done a brilliant job. But can they win it? I don't think so because of City and because of Erling Haaland. And put Erling Haaland in Arsenal's team, they win the Premier League.
Ali?
I'm with Tim. I just think City, strength and depth. You know, you look at that big fella up front. You know, he doesn't start the game, but he comes on, gets a winner. There's just a mystique and a magic about him. The squad's far stronger. You and I were talking earlier on, Laura, about Arsenal starting 11. Excellent. You look what they've got in depth. I don't think it's anywhere near as strong as Manchester City. You know, you would have to have a real concern that Arsenal, you know, don't get a couple of injuries to key players. That said, they've had a remarkable start. And even the game they lost, to be quite frank, they should have taken something in the game at Old Trafford.
United.
But there's part of me just thinks City have got that little bit up their sleeve.
I mean, the evidence of that, Ali, is the two best players for me are Zinchenko and Jesus, who left Man City to go to Arsenal.
Yeah.
I mean, it just says everything. Interesting to see what they do in the market. It looks like, look, they navigated away through Wolves. They're top at Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean, magnificent. But what can he do? What are you going to do? You can't do it with this squad. He needs to go into the transfer market, depending on what they do in the market. And if there's a massive drop off from Man City, which we all don't expect, then why not? Listen, if you finish above Arsenal, you win the Premier League, I think.
Yeah.
Here's some stats that we saw yesterday, and it's about best Premier League starts after 13 games. So Manchester City in the 2017-18 season were 37 points. You've got Liverpool in there. Basically, you've got all the teams that have hit those points, other than Newcastle in 95-96. Basically, they've gone on to win the league. So I still kind of feel like 34 points and 2 points clear of Man City isn't enough at this stage.
Why do you think that then? I mean, because I understand it. Is it there'll be a lot of Arsenal fans the exact same as you, Laura, will be absolutely delighted and thrilled at the way Arsenal have started, and so they should be. But are you kind of in the same boat as Tim as myself? If Manchester City weren't there, would fancy strongly, but there's just something City have got.
I think there's 2 points isn't a cushion, really, is it? It's Arsenal losing one game and City winning one game, and then all of a sudden they're in charge and they know how to go on and see out a season. And I think that's the difference. Last season, these Arsenal players, I don't want to say bottled it because I think that's a little bit harsh, but they were in the driving seat for top four and they couldn't quite see it out. They are a different outfit this year, and like you say, Tim, the signings that they've made have really hit the ground running. Saliba looks like an absolute revelation as well. I just think that when you've got a team like City who are experienced in seeing seasons like this out and chasing down leads, and they've got a bench which could be any. They can rotate between starting players all the time. They can just switch people in, switch people out, and they will see out games. I don't think Arsenal have that kind of armoury. Excuse the pun. I would love to. I mean, obviously, I'm all the will in the world putting behind it. It's my team, and I want them to win. And obviously, I'll keep my fingers crossed firmly. I think that a lot of Arsenal fans are just really enjoying what they're seeing at the moment.
So only City, Laura. You'll beat the rest.
Well, I can see them with the result against Chelsea. That was obviously a big one, wasn't it? And the result against Tottenham, and those were two very big tests in terms of who makes the top four. Yeah. Liverpool, I agree with you, Tim. I think they're going to have a bit of a resurgence and they'll find their way back into this. Yeah. But the way second half of the season can be so different. But the way you can only judge it on what you see so far. And Arsenal look like the far more confident side, playing nicer football and look like a complete team unit. Even when Gabriel Jesus isn't scoring goals, they're sharing them out and other.
Yep, I hear what you're saying, and I do expect Liverpool a good result yesterday, obviously, and I do expect a resurgence in form. However, in the cold light of day, you're 5 wins ahead of them already right now. I think it's 15 points. So the way you've started and the way Liverpool have started, I do agree. I think there'll be an improvement in Liverpool, but I don't see Arsenal having a dramatic decline.
Fingers crossed, as long as they can stay healthy. It will be really interesting to see what happens at the World Cup, who comes back fit and healthy.
That's true.
And whether or not you can keep momentum going, whether that break will be a good or a bad thing for Arsenal and the other teams in the Premier League.
Europa League, they're going to go very deep in that. I fancy them to win that. I think Newcastle will be the team. They'll be the threat.
Do you know
they haven't got no European football. They're going to go into the market again. Yeah. They're going to be very targeted in what they're going and bring to their football club. Listen, I think they're a threat for the top 4 as well.
I can't believe I didn't even mention them. My dad will kill me. But you're right, they're into 3rd position. And Tim also, in this window you can absolutely see him strengthening. I hope Arsenal do as well. I really do. Jack is an Arsenal fan. Good morning to you, Jack. You right?
Morning, guys. You right?
Hello.
Morning,
good,
Jack.
thank you.
Morning, mate.
Where did you watch the game yesterday, Jack?
I had a weekend trip down to Gloucester with my mate, so we watched it in a bar down there.
Lovely. And what do you think about the season? Did you hear the conversation we were just having?
So I think it's time for Arsenal fans to start believing that we can go on and win the title. We obviously started off the season sort of top of the league, thinking, we'll still be happy with top 4, but now I think it's time to start believing.
I think the message what Mikel sent out yesterday is the first time I've heard him say we're in a title race. I think he's trying to dilute that to the players. He wants them to believe rather than take the pressure off. What you see loads of managers do now, he's almost sending that message into the dressing room and saying, come on guys, we can challenge you.
And that might be the right time to do it, because he was being quite cautious at the beginning, wasn't he? And maybe that's the right thing to do, just to wait until see where you are at Christmas and see how you're doing at the midway of the season. In terms of the other contenders, we were just talking about this, Jack, about the teams around. Who do you think's the biggest threat? Not just let's not talk about winning the Premier League, but just the top 4.
I mean, obviously, there's no point even talking about Man City, because we know they're going to be at the top of the table at the end of the season. I know after their defeat yesterday, people might be laughing at them, but I still think Manchester United are going to be in and around that top 4. Spurs, obviously, will be in and around. I think they will drop off. I don't think Spurs will get top 4. They might just be bias coming out, but I don't think they will. And then it's obviously going to be between Chelsea and Newcastle, I think, are being overlooked as well. I think Newcastle is fully in that top 4 race.
All right, Jack, thank you very much for your call, mate. Take care. Just a couple of Aubameyang stats to take you to the break. Only had 4 touches in the first half. That's 15 less than any other outfield player. 8 touches the whole game. Completed less passes than Mohamed El-Neni, who came on in the 87th minute. And Aubameyang was subbed off in the 64th minute. Received more yellow cards than he had shots. Sorry, I didn't write this. This was an Arsenal fan that decided to write this. And then he's also cut and paste Gabriel's tweet saying nothing personal, London is red, which apparently Aubameyang liked. So look, I'm sure behind the scenes they're all having a laugh about it. But yeah, Aubameyang. Where's Piers Morgan when you need him? Let's get Piers Morgan back on. Do you remember that argument I had with him back in the day, saying that Aubameyang letting him go was the biggest mistake? Didn't trust in Mikel Arteta. Where are you now, Piers Morgan, eh?
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.